Welcome back to Grim Advice with Gretta Myers. You've entered the grimoire. Let's turn the page together. There will be actual page turning this time. Okay, so I have inquired, I have searched the hive mind and actually asked people who speak better German than I do. And the title for this is Fundevogel, or Fledgling. I will try to pronounce it, Fundevogel, for the rest of the time, but I may just end up calling the character, if it becomes a problem, Fledgling. So, without further ado, Fundevogel, or Fledgling. There was once a forester who went into the forest to hunt, and as he entered it, he heard a sound of screaming as if a little child were there. He followed the sound and at last came to a high tree, and at the top of this a little child was sitting, for the mother had fallen asleep under the tree with the child, and a bird of prey had seen it in her arms, had flown down, snatched it away, and set it high upon the tree. The forester climbed up, brought the child down, and thought to himself, "You will take him home with you, and bring him up with your Lena." He took it home, therefore, and the two children grew up together. The one, however, which he had found on a tree, was called Fundevogel, because a bird had carried it away. Fundevogel and Lena loved each other so dearly that when they did not see each other, they were sad. The forester had an old cook, who one evening took 2 pails and began to fetch water, and did not go once, but many times out to the spring. Lena saw this and said, "Old Santa, why are you fetching so much water? If you will never repeat it to anyone, I will tell you why." So Lena said no, she will not repeat it to anyone, and then the cook said, "Early tomorrow morning, when the forester is out hunting, I will heat the water, and when it is boiling in the kettle, I will throw in Fundevogel, and will boil him in it." Early next morning, the forester got up and went out hunting, and when he was gone, the children were still in bed. Then Lena said to Fundevogel, "If you will never leave me, I too will never leave you." Fundevogel said, "Neither now nor ever will I leave you." Then said Lena, "Then I will tell you, last night old Santa carried so many buckets of water into the house that I asked her why she was doing that. And she said that if I would promise not to tell anyone, she would tell me. And I said that I would be sure not to tell anyone. And she said that early tomorrow morning, when Father was out hunting, she would set the kettle full of water, throw you into it, and boil you. But we will get up quickly and dress ourselves and go away together." The two children, therefore, got up, dressed themselves quickly, and went away. Goodness. When the water in the kettle was boiling, the cook went into the bedroom to fetch Fundevogel and throw him into it. But when she came in and went to the beds, both the children were gone. Then she was terribly alarmed, and she said to herself, "What shall I say now that the forester comes home and sees the children are gone? Quickly they must be followed and brought back again." And then the cook sent 3 servants after them, who were to run and overtake the children. The children, however, were sitting outside the forest, and when they saw from afar the 3 servants running, Lena said to Fundevogel, "Never leave me, and I will never leave you." Fundevogel said, "Neither now nor never." Then said Lena, "Do become a rose bush, and I will become a rose upon it." When the 3 servants came to the forest, nothing was there but a rose bush and 1 rose on it, but the children were nowhere. Then said they, "There is nothing to be done here," and then they went home and told the cook that they had seen nothing in the forest but a little rose bush with a rose on it. Then the old cook scolded and said, "You simpletons, you should have cut the rose bush in 2, broken off the rose, and brought it home with you. Go and do it now." They had therefore to go out and look for the 2nd time. The children, however, saw them coming from a distance. Then Lena said, "Fundevogel, never leave me, and I will never leave you." Fundevogel said, "Neither now nor ever." Said Lena, "Then you become a church, and I will be the chandelier in it." So when the 3 servants came, nothing was there but a church with a chandelier in it. They said therefore to each other, "What can we do here? Then let us go home." When they got home, the cook asked if they had not found them. So they said no, but they had found nothing but a church, that there was a chandelier in it. Then the cook scolded them and said, "You fools! Why did you not pull the church to pieces, and bring the chandelier home with you?" And now the old cook herself got up, and went with the 3 servants in pursuit of the children. The children, however, saw from afar that the 3 servants were coming, and the cook waddling after them. Then said Lena, "Fundevogel, never leave me, and I will never leave you." Then said Fundevogel, "Neither now nor ever." This said Lena, "Now be a fish pond, and I will be a duck upon it." The cook, however, came up to them, and when she saw the pond, she lay down and was about to drink it up. But the duck swam quickly to her, seized her head in its beak, and drew her into the water, and there the old witch had to drown. Then the children went home together and were heartily delighted, and they were not dead, and if they are not dead, they are still living. Well, I mean, that last part makes sense. They're not dead, they're still living. Okay. Let me think. Okay, this is... How did they turn into different things? That's my biggest question, I think. You know, like... It's like, I'll be a rose, you be a rose bush. I'll become a church. And I'll be a chandelier, and you be a body of water, and I'll be a duck. And then, okay, the three servants are really dumb. Really dumb. Because they go to look for the rose bush, and there's a church instead, and they're like, oh, yep, this was totally here last time. Because, I mean, it never said that the children moved, so I'm gonna just assume that it is the same spot. And then there was just suddenly a church, and they were like, yep, seems legit, alright. Yeah, okay. Okay, and okay, the cook was also not very smart, too. Here's why. Like it says at the very beginning, let me quote word for word. Fundevogel and Lena loved each other so dearly that when they did not see each other, they were sad. Like, okay, that's like really blatantly obvious. Like, if you like love someone that much, it's hard to hide it from someone. So either the cook is like really obtuse and just not noticing things, or she's like going to blatantly go against that and tell Lena, hey, I'm about to kill your best friend. Sounds cool, right? No, not cool. No. Like, how did she think that that would be a good idea? I don't understand what her line of thought was. But yeah, somehow she's still smart enough to be like, they've shape-shifted into rose bushes and stuff. Somebody explain to me. Somebody explain. Okay. You know, you can be smart in certain ways, but like, you can be really not smart in other ways, you know? Let's see. The whole thing, the whole shape-shifting, you be a rose, I'll be a rose bush, church chandelier, like, that just reminded me of that one book, the one, like, pictured book for kids, with bunnies, where, like, the kid's like, I'm gonna run away and do this, and then the mom's like, well, I'm gonna do, like, X similar thing, so I'm always near you. Like, he's like, I'm gonna go be a plant in a garden, and she's like, I'll be the gardener. I'm gonna go sail a boat. Well, I'll be the wind, and it is cute. It's wholesome. A little, maybe a little overbearing, I don't know. It depends on the context, but, like, the book comes across very sweet. Like, he's like, well, I'm gonna go do this, and she's like, well, I'll always be here for you. Well, yeah, let's take the message like that instead of other stuff, because obviously the other stuff that you could take out of it is there, but we're not gonna go there. So, obviously, I could take out from their little mantra, Fundevogel, never leave me, and I will never leave you, neither now nor never, nor ever. I could be like, that's a little, but I've done a lot of that. Let's take it on the flip side. That's pretty sweet. To say to someone, look, I really appreciate being in your company. I don't want to stop being in your company. Like, that's, like, obviously it could have that darker effect or that darker side of, maybe that's a little bit unhealthy, stalking, know, like maybe he wants to do his own thing and then she won't let him. They could have that. But they're kids. Kids don't really get that concept. And, you know, I'm just in a mood where I'm like, no, it's sweet. It's sweet. So yes, so here's the thing. You gotta acknowledge that things like this there can be a darker side. You gotta acknowledge the darker side if you want to look at the light side, because if you spend so much time suppressing and ignoring the darker side, then it's gonna pop out eventually and be bad and stuff, and we don't want that. So you gotta at least look at it and be like, that's a thing, but I'm gonna focus over here. Dialectic toast. It's been a while since I've done the toast. I spread it all over. It'll be good. Yeah, you know, like if you gotta accept that there are like different and worse and darker meanings to things before you can be like, oh, you gotta like acknowledge the whole situation. Any situation, whether that's something your friend has said or like just this concept or etc. You gotta like sit down and be like, okay, this is the whole situation. What am I going to take out of it personally, as a person or dog or whoever's watching this video? And you can choose the darker side, absolutely. Whatever is working for you, that's valid, you're valid. Or you can absolutely say, you know, you do have to acknowledge it though, otherwise it doesn't work. And that lighter side just becomes tainted eventually, and you gotta at least say, this exists. And I know it exists, and I'm still gonna focus over here on the happy things. So, yeah, never leave me and I will never leave you, neither now nor ever. Cute. Wholesome. Potentially dark, but they're kids, and they're like just trying to survive, and so they're like, we gotta stick together, all for one, and whatnot. Yeah. Acknowledgement. That's the key. That's the key, ain't it? Yeah, so with that, thank you for joining us for another Happily Ever After, or not so happily ever after. That's up for you to decide, and what you decide is valid, because you're valid. You're valid. You are. Either way, this is the end for the episode, so tune in later and we can learn more and turn a new page together.